Hi, this is Doug at Connected Mobile Life, coming to you from my 2018 Pleasureway Ascent. Today I want to talk to you about the table. The table that comes with the 2018 is a pedestal table. It's very heavy, but it's very sturdy as well. A couple things about it is it's very difficult to store. It's round. You can't put it behind the driver's seat. It'll just roll right out. So you really need to tuck it away, and I usually tuck it on the side of the couch just to get it out of the way, and then you need to store the pedestal itself. Probably the biggest issue is, especially if you have something on top of it, getting in and out of this sofa around the table is pretty awkward. You really need to kind of shift around and slide between the table and the TV on this side, or around the ottoman on the passenger side. A lot of times, what I'll do is I'll just lift it up and move it to the side to get in and out. But still, it's awkward, hard to store. So today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace it. I bought a Lagun table mount, and I'm going to put it on the passenger side ottoman. It's actually the same position that Pleasureway installs it now on their 2019 and later. So let me cut to the install. A couple things about installing it. I had to create a wood block that would gap the bracket that comes with the Lagun from the side of the ottoman itself. But I'll show you that as we get into the install. Okay, so we're out, and I'm trying to fit the table leg to where I'm going to mount it along this driver or passenger side ottoman. So I've taken this and cut a couple blocks of wood. Just one is a half-inch pine board that I refinished, and then an additional quarter-inch plywood spacer. And that when you put it in here, it gives the correct spacing, with this, and it doesn't interfere with this support, for the extension for the bed. Okay, so now what I'm trying to do is position it inside here. So I'm going to use bolts for strength. I'm not going to use screws. So I want to make sure that a bolt doesn't hit this, and ideally I'd like to straddle this to put the bracket all the way down as far as it could go, but I may not be able to. This turns out to be very difficult to undo. There were two brackets here. I took one out here, but it doesn't move. And a big reason for that is, if you look around down here, there's a screw here, and this is all one piece of wood all the way down. So I have to take this out, and there's another one. Sorry for the camera. Another one right here. And then maybe I can take this off. So I think maybe I'll do that. It's worth taking two more screws out. The other tricky part is getting my hand down in to get the bolts, hold the bolts and straighten it. But what I found is that there are two screws here. There's one here, and there's one here. I basically loosened them, and you can see this will move. So I think I'll take those screws out, lean this back, and then I should be able to get my hand down in there to get the bolts down. So that's what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to take the two screws here and here, these two out, see if I can take this board up so I can get access to here, and that will allow me to put the leg far back here, and that'll give me better. It'll make sure that somebody can actually sit on this ottoman with the table on, and also reach the sofa. So then what I'll do is, and this should be able to slide way down here. Let's see if I can get that. And then I'll drill the holes. that looks good. So that'll give me some good access. All right, let me turn the camera off and I'll let you know how it goes. Okay, so progress is made. I got this piece off, which is great. So it was here. There was actually a third screw right here I had to take off. So I ended up using the socket wrench. It was just easier because of this electrical box in here. So now I'm going to take these screws off, lean this forward, and I did a bunch of measurements, and I think I really want this to straddle this this piece here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up, this center piece right here with that bracket, so that these two screws come on either side, and I have enough room to get the bolt down. But I should be able to have enough space now to get my hand down in there to hold the bolts. I went back and forth on whether or not to use bolts or screws on this, but I decided bolts would be a little easier on the wood, on this plywood. If I ever pulled out, then it could make a real mess of the laminate. So I guess next steps for me, I've actually got a clamp that I'm going to use. Let me put that there. So what I'm going to try and do is actually clamp this bracket in, position it, and then use that as a pattern to drill out the holes and put bolts through to secure the mount. So the mount will end up being about here, right about in that area, and that'll give me maximum space to have somebody sit alongside the post if I choose to. But realistically, if I have more people around here, I'll probably just use the pedestal table that came with it. Okay, so next step for me is I'm going to tape up. I got blue masking tape. I'm going to tape up. So with the laminate, you don't want to just drill into it. It could crack. So put some masking tape over it, and that should help support the laminate as you drill through. Okay, here's a quick look at the setup just before I drill. So as you can see, I masked off where the drill holes are going to be for each of the screws. And then I used a clamp to just clamp the piece in, and that allowed me to come through here and just make sure that the bracket itself was parallel with this seat brace. And I used something simple just to kind of gap it a little bit in here, and also give a little space for the wood backing piece to go in there. But I think that should work out well. So my plan right now is to essentially drill a single hole at a time. I'll probably drill this one first, put the bolt through, line it again, and drill that one, and that'll lock it in place. Or I may do this one, because that's a tough one, because I'm going to have to come down and reach the lower bolt back here. But you can see I've taken the screws out of here. This is now leaning free, so I can get the clamp behind here and really isolate that bracket from moving. So I'm going to take this bolt out, and I'm just going to drill through, and I'm going to leave the other three bolts in just to hold everything in place, and use this as a drill guide going through. So the other piece to be aware of is you want a very, very sharp drill bit, and you want to go slow. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go slow until I feel it break the laminate piece here, and then I'll be able to drill through the plywood coming through. So here we go, first hole. We'll check back in when it's done. Okay, so here's the finished product, and all the holes are drilled anyway. Not really the finished product, but you can kind of see how clean the holes came out. There wasn't a lot of chipping around the ends of these holes, so tape is definitely the way to go. This lines up, so I'm gonna go ahead and mount these. I've got washers and friction nuts to go on the back of these bolts, and we'll get it assembled and see what the table looks like. Okay, here we are with a view of it all put back together. You You can kind of see down in here. The bolts are set up in here. The brackets on, and the table's on. All I need to do now is to put on the desktop on the tabletop. But everything is all buttoned up, put back together. I'll probably leave the pedestal mount. You never know when I'll need a bigger group table, but this one's going to be my desk. So I'll either be sitting back here on the sofa or maybe over here on this chair. But I can probably swing it around. Probably anywhere on the sofa I can probably take it and use that desk from it. So here it is with the cushion on. You can kind of see how it all kind of looks together. The brackets on, and you kind of see how I've spaced it. You got plenty of space here, just missing this, and plenty of space for the cushion to sit in front of this. And when you take this off, if you can see, there's a bracket right here. So basically, you can take the leg and then attach it here, clamp it here, and then this whole unit then can slide behind the driver's seat for storage. It kind of packs up very, very compactly. And my tabletop's gonna be square, so it'll fit. It won't roll out of behind the seat. So it's another problem with the table that came with the Ascent. It was round, bulky. There really wasn't any place for them to put it in 2018. I think later in 2018 they created a spot underneath the TV, but my unit was early 2018, didn't come with that. So anyway, this I think is a much better use of table space. Okay, so here it is, finished product. I got a tabletop from a local mill here in Oregon. I just happened to we're getting wood for our planter boxes, and I happened to see a display for cutting boards for they were $20 each. I couldn't resist. A local craftsman makes them and sells them through the mill. So I just bought it, I oiled it, and it makes a nice cutting board extension for the kitchen, and it's just the perfect size for me for a work surface. I can put my laptop on and my iPad, and makes a really nice desk. So I'll probably still keep looking for a tabletop. They make some pretty nice ones. They have some with like an epoxy insert in it. It looks very decorative. What I really prefer are some of the more sailing-centric tabletops, nice teak, especially ones that might fold out, give me some expandable work surface. But I'll keep looking and maybe update, if I find one that I really like more than this. But for now, this is doing quite well. So a few things about the Lagun is, at this point it reaches every seat that I have. So I could sit over in the ottoman by the TV, sit in the ottoman on the passenger side, and pretty much anywhere on the sofa. My favorite spot is over here on the passenger side. I'll just shift to the side, and it makes it a really nice distance from I'm sitting with the laptop. Another unexpected or surprising benefit of this is that the table actually you can adjust the height of it. So if I'm working on the laptop for long periods of time, I can sort of easily adjust it. I don't have it tightened down, so I get a better height. So ergonomically, the screen is at a better viewing angle from my eye level. So I don't have to sort of hunch my shoulders or neck down. So for long periods of time, typing, writing software, this makes a terrific addition to the team, to the van. So that's it. That's the Lagun table install for the Pleasureway Ascent. Hope this helps you out. I just again, it's the way I did it, not necessarily how everyone should. I'll just leave you with that. And this is Doug, Connected Mobile Life, signing off.